What if going to work every day could actually kill you? In Japan, it's called Karoshi, death from overwork. Thousands suffer in silence, pushed beyond human limits by crushing expectations, endless hours, and even mandatory drinking. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a hidden epidemic and sharing the story of Miwa Sado, a brilliant journalist who died doing what she loved because she simply couldn't stop. Stay with me. This is a conversation you can't afford to miss. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Healthy Workplace, the podcast where we have real conversations about the hidden dangers that lurk inside our work lives and how we can rise above them. I'm your host, Dr. Williams, and today we're exploring something that is both heartbreaking and urgent. Now, this term is called Karoshi. This is a Japanese word, basically means death from overwork. Yes, death, not burnout, not just exhaustion, actual death. In this episode, we'll dive into the origins of Karoshi, explore the roots of Japanese work culture, and discuss the pressures of mandatory socializing after hours, look at government reports and death statistics, and remember the tragic case of journalist Miwa Sado, whose story shocked the world. This is not just about Japan. It's a warning for all of us living in an increasingly always-on world. Let's start by being crystal clear. Karoshi just basically translates to death from overwork. It was officially recognized in the late 1970s after several high-profile deaths of otherwise healthy workers who suddenly collapsed from heart attacks, strokes, or even committed suicide, all because of extreme job stress and exhaustion. Karoshi is not a fringe issue. It's officially acknowledged by the Japanese government and tracked through national labor and health ministries. So what causes it? Well, typically it's extreme and prolonged overtime, chronic psychological stress, and little to no work-life balance. How many lives are lost to Karoshi? So let's talk about numbers because they tell a devastating story. According to Japan's Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, in 2022, there were over 2,968 claims filed for work-related mental illnesses, including depression linked to overwork. Out of those, 608 cases were officially recognized as Karoshi-related deaths, either from suicide, heart failure, or stroke. It's important to know these are only the recognized cases. Experts say the true number is likely much higher because of underreporting, stigma, and cultural pressures to keep family reputations intact. As for every death, there are countless others living with the crippling mental and physical illnesses caused by overwork. So how did they get to this point? The roots of Japanese work culture are deep and complex. After World War II, Japan was left devastated, cities in ruins, industries destroyed. The government, corporations, and citizens rallied around building the nation's economy back again. A culture of loyalty and sacrifice was born from this. The ideal worker was the company man, someone who stayed with one employer for life, showing total devotion. This system is called Shushin Koyo, basically means lifetime employment. In return, companies provided stability, job security, pension, and family benefits. But it came at a cost. Workers were expected to arrive early, stay late, far beyond official working hours, rarely take vacations, and place the needs of the company above personal or family needs. Presenteeism, staying physically at work even after tasks were done, became a performance. You didn't leave before your boss. You didn't clock out if others were still working. Taking sick leave was frowned upon. Leaving on time, seen as selfish. And then there's another layer, after-hour drinking parties, which I'll talk about next. So this is the culture of nomikai. That just basically means to drink after work. Another key piece of advice you can't ignore when talking about Karoshi is the culture of this, the after-working drinking sessions that employees are often expected to attend. It's not just casual drinks. These outings are an extension of the workday, almost mandatory. Employees are expected to, one, socialize with their colleagues, show loyalty to the team, bond with their superiors. It's where deals are made, where promotions are discussed. It's also where loyalty is tested. But here's the catch. These events often last late into the night. There's pressure to drink heavily, even if you don't want to. There's no comp time in the next morning. You still show up at work at 8 a.m. sharp. If you refuse to attend, you risk being seen as antisocial, disloyal, or unmotivated. Imagine finishing a 12-hour shift and then having to voluntarily spend another 4 to 5 hours drinking with your boss before dragging yourself home to grab maybe 3 to 4 hours of sleep. Over time, this relentless cycle of work, drinking, poor sleep, and stress ravages the body and mind. So now, with that being said, I want to talk about the tragic death of Miwa Sado. So let's bring this into the focus story of her. Miwa was a promising political journalist at NHK, Japan's largest broadcasting organization. In 2013, after covering major local elections back to back, she died suddenly of heart failure. She had clocked 159 hours of overtime in the month leading up to her death. That's nearly 40 extra hours every week on top of an already full-time workload. And how many days off did she take in that period? Just two. Just 2 days off. Miwa's death wasn't immediately made public. It took 4 years until 2017 for NHK to admit that her death was due to overwork. Her parents, devastated but determined, spoke publicly to raise awareness. They didn't want Miwa's death to be in vain. They called on society, and especially her employers, to recognize that extreme work demands are not a badge of honor. They are a death sentence. Miwa's case resonated around the world, but tragically, her story and still is far too common. So what are the efforts at reform? Are they enough? So what has Japan done in response? In 2019, new labor laws capped over at 45 hours per month with a maximum of 100 hours in special circumstances. But critics argue enforcement is weak, cultural expectations still pressure workers to exceed legal limits. Some companies simply reclassify employees to skirt overtime caps, meaning the spirit of the law is often ignored. So, here's why you should care, even if you don't live in Japan. In 2021, World Health Organization found that working 55 plus hours a week increases your risk of heart disease and stroke by double digits. Overwork is estimated to kill over 745,000 people globally each year. That's almost 750,000 deaths annually from something we treat as normal or necessary. Remote work, hustle culture, blurred boundaries, it's happening everywhere. Karoshi is not a Japanese problem anymore. It's a global epidemic in slow motion. So here are some final thoughts. We have to rethink what it means to be dedicated at work. True dedication isn't about killing yourself for a paycheck. It's about setting healthy boundaries, value and recovery time, prioritizing mental health. Recognize that people perform better, not worse, when they're rested and supported. Employers must do better. Leaders must set the tone. And we, as workers, must demand a culture where health is not sacrificed for profit. Let Miwa Sado's story and the stories of so many others be the wake-up call we all desperately need. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you found value in this episode, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, take care of yourself, your body, your mind, and your spirit, because you matter.